So as a producer, what's the stuff that you sweat today? What's the small stuff that you let go? What's the stuff that you sweat today?
I think budgets obviously is something that everyone looks at very closely, and you should look at very closely as a producer. The script is something that you should really, really look at very, very closely, because you need to be completely convinced about every line that's in there. Either you get convinced or you're able to convince, but one way or the other, the entire team associated with the project needs to be on the same page. The casting is something the producer needs to be very, very closely involved with.
How involved are you personally with the casting?
I'm pretty involved with the casting. You know, having been around as long as I have, having the relationships one does, it's important to be able to pick on, you know, like sort of pick up the phone on the people that you want to be able to cast, and give them a feeling of how passionate you are about the material, so that they understand that it's something that they should give consideration to as well. So for the key cast, that's something I'm quite involved in.
What was a casting call that you made that kind of worked out the way that you had imagined it to?
I think probably Dangal was that one time that was a very important casting call, because I remember that you know, we had a young girl in our creative team who came up with the idea, having read an article in the Times of India, and she came up and said that, you know, that we want to make a film on these. I mean, this wouldn't that make a great story?
Yeah.
The Phogat sisters. And I said, absolutely, you must go and, you know, check it out and go and meet the family. She did, and she said, you know what, it's about the father and the daughters, not just about the daughters. And she came back and we spoke to Nitesh Tiwari. We just made a film with him just before that chillout party. He loved the story. He went away and wrote a great screenplay. And then we started brainstorming on who to cast. And at that time, of course, Irfan was someone that we'd worked with already on Pan Singh Tomar and Metro and so many. He was someone we had in mind. He would have done a wonderful job. But then I got a call from Aamir at that time saying that, you know, he had time to sort of listen to scripts. And I immediately thought, what about this for him? And that's one call that actually really helped, because I think he was able to see the potential in it. Many other stars of his stature might not have been okay with playing an overweight wrestler who's like a bit of a has-been, who's living out his dreams through his daughters. But he immediately saw the potential in it. Of course, in typical Aamir style, he asked us if we'd wait for 5 years.
What was your response?
Our response was absolutely, because I think when you know him well enough, you know that he might say that, but it might be difficult for him to resist something that he loves that much. And so pretty much after a year after him saying yes, 5 years later, he came back and said he'd do it.